Hi guys, and welcome back to Tea Time with Livvy. I literally can't believe the response to the first episode and just the podcast in general. I cannot thank you all enough. Literally can't believe that it's finally out and it's finally here. I was literally explaining the other day on my Instagram how I wanted the vibes to be. And after speaking to you, I did feel a little bit better because I was so nervous about obviously doing it on my own and talking about different topics. Because when I've mentioned podcasts to other people, like my dad and George, they were like, who are you going to have on? Who are you going to have on? Eventually, I will have guests on, but I just wanted it to kind of be like a girly space for us all to come, listen, tune in, and I'm going to be talking about some really big things that I just think will benefit anyone listening really that is going through, who could potentially relate to anything that I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm so happy that yous have all enjoyed the first episode, and make sure yous are ready for this one. This one is called Mirror Mirror, and it is all about body image. So if you don't have a cup of tea and some biscuits right now, you need to go downstairs and get some, because I am going to be delving in deep today. I have actually filmed this episode already, and I've had to refilm it because it's such a big thing for me to talk about, and I wanted it to be perfect. And I feel like I was a little bit nervous when I was filming before the podcast actually launched, because I filmed that episode before we'd actually launched episode 1. So I just feel like I was a little bit nervous on the episode. So I'm glad that I've decided to refilm it, because I really want to get the message across correctly, which I feel like I did. But you know what, I'm a little bit of an overthinker, if you don't already know that. And you're probably going to learn that, how much of an overthinker I am in this episode. So yeah, guys, get ready to relax, and I'm going to be talking all things body. So if you have followed me for a while, I feel like I've been open about me suffering with body image, the way that I view myself. I've suffered with body dysmorphia. Well, I still do sometimes. And it's just, I feel like I've been through every single thing that you can possibly go through to try and make yourself feel better, of what you think is feel better. And yeah, I just think I've learned a lot along the way, and it's took me a while to be able to talk openly about things, because I don't know, it's sometimes I do still feel like that, but I've definitely got better with it. So I feel, and I basically want whoever's listening who does suffer, because I know so many of my followers do deal with this, because when I have spoke about it online before, I've had so many people respond to me stories, message me, speak to me about things. So yeah, I am going to tell you my story with everything to do with that. And it all started it's actually weird to me, because I was always the most confident kid, like the way that I am online. I've always just had that attitude. I've always had that personality. I've always had that confidence. And I mean, I think I always used to think I was fat, when I was little and used to come in from school. This is when I was in primary school, and used to say all the boys had said something to me, or basically what the issue was for me, and the reason I started feeling fat. I want people to also know that, actually, I should have really said at the beginning, this is a trigger warning. I will be talking about weight. I will be talking about all things like that, just so you know. But anyway, yeah, so the whole reason that I started to think I was that way is because every single time I'd have an argument with someone, and I feel like so many people get this, everyone has a one word that you get to it. I remember loads of people in my school, they get called a slag or something by the lads. I'd always get called fat. I was like, please just call me a slag. And I think it just stemmed from there, really, because it was the same comments, whether it was different people, it was always the one thing that I would get called. And I used to go home and be like, oh, I'm like to my mum and dad, and I used to cry, and I used to feel a certain way. And my mum and dad used to say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I used to think, fuck off with that rhyme, the words are literally hurting me. And my dad used to be like, shut up, you're not fat, you literally got puppy fat. Now, just one thing about my family, and I've definitely got the fat gene. And I know some of you might be thinking, girl, you're not fat and you never have been, because so many people say that to me. But if you are one of them people who have the fat gene, you'll just know what I mean. I've been mates with people growing up, and they can eat what they want and they'll still look like a supermodel. They'll literally put not a bean of weight on. Whereas I literally will have some chocolate digestives and I'll be a pound heavy the next day. And I just feel like me little sisters are the same. We just haven't got that gene. And where I can't eat what I want, I've always got to be careful with what I eat, otherwise I will put weight on. And that's okay. It took me a long time to accept that, but like, if you are like that, it is okay. Everyone is built differently. Like, everyone is not meant to be the same. So yeah, when I was in school, even when I was in primary school, I remember getting called fat for the first time, and it was actually by a lad that I fancied, and I was like, and like my whole heart just sank. And I did always used to I was obviously like chubbier than other kids. I wasn't actually like fat. I honestly, when I'm just saying, I just know that that's just what I was getting called. Like, now looking back, it makes me sad because I wasn't fat. But like the girls I used to go to school with used to be super skinny. Like I always used to worry about the size of my legs compared to their legs. It just all started there, little things where I'd start comparing myself. And it would just make me feel like I was just not like the average size weight for a little girl when I literally was. I just feel like I've always been tiny. I did mention on my last video, like, I am so small when you meet me in real life. So I've always been small. I think I've literally grew 2 inches since I left school. And I don't know, I always say if I was a little bit taller, my weight would be distributed differently. So when I put weight on, you can proper tell because I'm only tiny. So yeah, that's probably when it all did stem for me. And then, yeah, so there was always the little things then in like the end of primary school in the back of my head about my weight, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like a certain way. My dad always used to say, oh, you've got puppy fat. Don't worry, your brothers with us. Our Jordan was the same. He got to 21 and dropped off him. Trust me, we were all chubby kids. Like, it's just the way you are. You're not fat. It will just come off you one day. And I was like, no, it won't. Like, I'm stuck like this. But I did always like listen to my dad, because my dad's like that person I'll listen to anything. And my mum was always the same. She used to say, you're perfect. Like, just stop. And I used to be like, oh. And then I would say it got worse when I went to senior school. It was just always the same thing getting said, and it was just by horrible little jealous people. Like, I look back at pictures of me in school and I was nowhere near fat, so why were people literally making out like I was like fucking huge? Like, it just baffled my head. And anyway, so yeah, it definitely got worse in senior school. Like, I was always that kid who in the summer I would never wear tights. I don't know what it was, but socks just made me legs look fat, made me feel fat, didn't like my knees. Used to literally be sweating me tits off in the summer wearing tights. Like, I would just wear them because they just made me feel skinnier. Having like black tights on make your legs look skinnier. I would like say in the assembly hall, my form was always on the front row, so each form was in like an order, so you were in the same order for like your whole 5 years every time you were in assembly or something. And ours was always on the front left. And I remember, like, if I was late for assembly or I was late for school on the day that assembly was and I had to walk up that aisle and go to there, I was literally dying in the inside, thinking everyone is looking at my legs. Like, everyone's looking at the size of my legs. My legs were literally not even big. It's just so weird how it was. And I would get so anxious. And even though no one in school would consider me as an anxious person or consider me as like an insecure person because of the way I carried myself, it was just like a big massive front. Like, my dad always says to me, the loudest in the room is always the weakest. And I think that was definitely my case in school. Like, I would defend myself till the fought max, and I would always like make sure I was like confident on the outside, but on the inside I was literally dying. I used to wear a shirt, then a jumper, then me pinafore, because when I took my blazer off, I didn't want the short sleeve top shirt on because I hated my arms. Like, I was always that kid again, long sleeve shirt, long sleeve jumper, like anything long, just put me fucking in it. I am still sometimes like that now. Like, I don't get as bad, but like sometimes I still do hate getting my arms out. So yeah, I would just say that that's where it all kind of started for me. After I left school, that's when it got terrible, because stupid ass me decided that it would be fun to be an influencer. And I don't know, I just feel like that was probably the worst time I could have decided to like put myself out there, because I was at such a vulnerable age. I was already having these issues, and then I decided to put myself out there online to then which created 10 times more issues. So when I left school, I was in college for like a month. I swear to God, I hated it. And then I ended up leaving college and I was working in a taxi office, but I was just like eating shit, to be honest. I wasn't getting out much because I'd stopped speaking to like most of my mates that I had in school. Usually when you're in school, you're walking around all day. I was going out after school, and then that kind of just stopped. And like I said, I've got the fat gene. I can't just sit around and eat shit. Otherwise, I will just pile it on. And yeah, so I started piling the weight on, and I was so depressed. Like, it was just insane. But I wasn't helping myself. Like, my like fallback when I'm feeling like shit is eating food. And I just binged so badly. Like, I would starve myself. I would be like, I'm not eating now for like a few days. I wouldn't last till midnight, mate. I'd be in that fucking fridge. And me and my mum weren't really getting on at the time either. Like, was just going through a bit of a rocky part in our relationship. So she was constantly, and I mean, she was only doing it out of the love in her heart, like telling me the truth. But like sometimes when we'd have murder, I don't know whether people are like this with the mums, but you'll just know, like when me and my mum have murder meat, it's going off. Like, there's not just any shitty ass little argument between me and my mum. We are having fully murder, especially if she's had a glass of wine. Oh, there's just no hope. So if my mum would go out and get pissed, she'd be coming home and I'd be going, I'd be calling her names and she'd call me names back. But when your mum says it to you, it's like, it's humbling. Do you get what I'm saying? Because to your mum, you're like the most perfect little thing in the world. So how dare you comment on my weight, like, you cheeky bit. I'd be like, I hate you. I'll go upstairs, slam the door, just cry my eyes out. But like, I was saying shit to her, don't give if you can't take. That's what I say. But yeah, my mum started saying like, come on, you need to stop eating shit, stop sitting around. Like, and I was just like, I couldn't accept it. Like, I couldn't accept that it was my fault. And then we started going to the gym together and I actually ended up losing quite a bit of weight and I felt fab. I got back down, like I lost like a stone. It felt amazing. Just over a stone, I think I lost. And then we got put in lockdown. I was like, oh, here we go again. But this time, I'm literally doing nothing. I can't go to work. Obviously, all you're doing in fucking lockdown is making foods that you've seen on TikTok, drinking alcohol, and just eating shit. Like, that was the only thing to do. And I ended up just putting the weight so much on. But in this time frame, I decided to do social media. This is when I started, like, my Instagram was on private. I was posting pictures. Before I was going away before this, I did mention on me last episode that like I love posting in a bikini. They were edited to fuck. I did not look like that. I used to edit my pictures so badly. Like, I will openly admit it, I don't know more. But yeah, I did at this point. And I used to post in a bikini. And yeah, I was just out there. Like, I was doing these fucking stupid lives on Instagram. And then I started posting on TikTok. And I briefly mentioned again about that dark period that I went through online. That's when it started, when I put weight on. And the body dysmorphia that I just explained that I had to you tripled. I wish I could tell you and show you some of the messages that I used to get online and the comments every single day. Like, I would have the most insane things going around about me that weren't even me. And like, it was just so sickening, like it actually was. And we're talking about a 17, 18-year-old girl. I'm already feeling a certain type of way. And then you feel like you've got a whole bunch of new people that are literally just trying to bully you for the way that you look. And it was just the worst time in my life. Like, you couldn't pay me to go and live them years again. If you are between the ages of 17, 19, like, it is such a difficult time. I don't care what anyone says. I know it's hard in adulthood as well, but them years for me were literally like, I just was so vulnerable, and I just feel like people really took the piss out of that. And yeah, it all boiled down to the things that was getting said to me online. Like, like I said, I always had that little thing in me where I was a little bit insecure about my weight, but then that made it 10 times fucking worse. Like, it was so, so bad. And I've always been asked this question, and I always get comments about it. And I am ready to open up and talk about it now. It has took me 5 years. And I've never hid this from you. I just want to state, I've never hid this from you out of a malicious way, because I want you to think that I've fucking been to the gym and got myself skinny. Do you know what I mean? I've never claimed that. I've more hid this from people. One, because I just wasn't ready for the response at the time, for a while. I've just never really been ready to deal with the fucking response that'll come alongside it. And the main reason being is because I never wanted to influence this. This is something that I'm not influencing it. I'm de-influencing it. I'm going to tell you exactly what I've been through. So hopefully people don't make the same mistakes as me. But yeah, I always get comments. Have you had the surgery? Have you had the BBL? Have you had liposuction? If you could see my filtered comment section on TikTok, you would die. It's literally like BBL, lipo. I've spelled lipo in 5 different ways. Turkey. Oh, every single thing you can think of is filtered in that fucking comment section, because it was so. Yeah, I'm just so. This is so weird. It feels weird talking about it, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so like I said, so that headspace where I was feeling really like depressed and like I had fucking really dark thoughts was in October. But it was maybe like the end of September, start of October. And I decided that I was going to go to Turkey and I was going to get me fat sucked out of me. I was going to get liposuction and I was going to get a BBL. I didn't tell my mum, didn't tell my dad. I knew they wouldn't let me go. But in my brain, it was just more of like, you either let me go or like I'm going to end up doing something to myself. Like this is the only solution I've got. I can't go to the fucking gym or locked it down. Like I need to get this. I need to get out of like this. I need to just do something. Like it was just a really bad headspace and I would never recommend doing that and thinking that surgery is going to fix the issue because I'm going to get into it now. So I booked the surgery and I knew I was going on the 16th of November 2020. And the company in Turkey basically wrote me a letter to say that like I'm going over there for work things and I can fly because obviously you weren't allowed to fly in lockdown. And I took my best mate with me. So, oh God, I feel a little bit nervous talking about this. Oh! So me and my best mate lied to, this is so bad. It's not funny, guys. It's actually not funny. So at the time, Cardiff had just opened in lockdown. Like not opened up, but I think they like started letting like people go out again. And like they basically took one of the restrictions off. So at the time, Chloe Ferry had just been to this boot camp in Cardiff where she was like away for like 5 days and she was obviously just like doing all the walks and shit like that. So I said to my mum and dad that I was going to Cardiff to do this boot camp when I was literally going to Istanbul to get a BBL. My dad was in Portugal at the time, so he was quite easy to get around, but he was like, why are you going there? Why are you going there? I was like, Dad, I need to lose weight and all this. So he was just like, okay. And then the day before I went, my mum asked if she could lend some money and he had £5 just like put away in my room. And like, I would never usually have like that much cash around me. I was a fucking 18-year-old girl and I worked in a taxi office. Like, I'm not just having £5 laying around. So she come in as I was getting it out and she was like, why have you got £5? But she just knew something weren't right. Like me and Alicia going to Cardiff. Like it was just never, what the fuck? It just, why would we be going to Cardiff? Bear in mind, Alicia's like a size 6. So anyway, but my mum knew what kind of, like I've said now, I've moved back in with my mum and she could see the change in me and like how much of like a dark route I was going down. So my mum said, where are you actually going? Like, tell me the fucking truth, what's going on? And I said, listen, like I'm going to Turkey. I said, I'm having this done. I said, don't tell me dad. And you can't stop me. Like you literally cannot stop me. The way I feel right now is the worst I've ever felt. And if I don't go and do something about it, something like bad's going to end up happening to me. I just really didn't see the point in living no more if I didn't like the way that I looked. It was fucking so toxic, guys. I can't believe I was ever in this mindset. So now I'm an 18-year-old girl on my way to Turkey, going to get a surgery that you can literally has a fucking high death rate because it's so dangerous. And my dad doesn't know. My mum just about knows. And I'm with me fucking 17-year-old best mate. It's a disaster waiting to happen. It was genuinely just, I just can't believe that I was willing to take that risk at that age. Like at 18, you should be confident, you should feel happy, you should just love yourself. Like at 18, you're growing up, like you're just going into adulthood, you're allowed to go out and you're like, you got, an idea, like it's all that kind of stuff. And for me, it was just like full depression. I just fucking hated it. Anyway, so we landed in Turkey and yeah, we got picked up by this taxi and took to this villa. And then actually took us to the hospital first and they took me bloods and stuff. And then the next day they woke me up at 6 a.m. and I went to the hospital and the surgeon came in and looked at me. Bear in mind, I'm even smaller than what I am at this point. I'm just tiny. I look like a kid. That's what upsets me about looking back at the pictures, because I just remind myself of my little sisters, and if my little sisters were ever in that headspace at 18, like what the actual, I can't explain it. So anyway, I went in and the surgeon came into the room and he just looked at me and he was just like, looked me up and down. I was like, what the actual fuck? He was just like, how old are you? And I was like, 18. And he was just like, 1 minute. Left the room. So I'm stood there with these little fucking surgery stockings on, like a hospital dress thing. And I was like, why is he saying that? He's going to say you can't do it. Like I genuinely thought he was going to send me home for being too young. And he come back in and was like, you're very young. Like, are you sure this is like what you want to do? Like he was basically saying your body hasn't you're not fully developed yet. You're a fucking baby. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I was like, you need to just do that. I was like, take as much fat out of me as you can. Like, I was just like, please, I can't live like this no more. You need, guys, I was literally like, oh, I did have a bit. But people, I'm also, when people are listening in, guys, I know that people might not have ever considered me as fat, like normal people, because I understand that. But that I did cover it up quite well. And I did massively edit my pictures. I went down to the surgery and I got the surgery. I come up and I woke up. I had a full-blown panic attack. I could not breathe, could not catch my breath. They were like pushing me to the room and I was like I could not breathe. I was like, get me oxygen. I couldn't get me. It was just the worst feeling of me whole life. My whole body was rattling. I was literally like this, shaking in the bed. Like, it was fucking scatty. I was in the most pain I've ever felt in my life. I woke up and like I had one of them things where you piss yourself. I was just like this on the bed. I was just like, my mate was crying her eyes out. Like, she was scarred. She was actually traumatized from what she had to witness of me like recovering from that fucking surgery. And I remember when they asked me to walk and I was walking around and it was just like, oh, what have I done to myself? Like, I literally had that realization and like, what the fuck am I actually doing? I'm stood here in Turkey. I can't even walk properly. My ass is on fire. Like, I could not believe I've done this. And then they kept coming in and taking my garment off and changing me bum. Not changing me bum, like changing these stickers on my ass. And I was like, why have I got plasters on my bum? And I was like, Alicia, take a picture of my bum cheek. And she took a picture of my bum cheek and I literally had big 3rd-degree burns all over my bum, both my bum cheeks. A lot of you will know what I'm on about. I had like a smiley face shaped scar on my ass and everyone was like, what's that scar off? What's that scar off? And I said, I sat on the straighteners. No, I never sat on the straighteners. I had to lie at the time because I was still very much in a mentally unwell space, because I'll go on to the backlog of that. But I had these 3rd-degree burns all over my bum. And I was like, this isn't normal. I was crying my eyes out to the nurse. Like, why have I got scars like that? I knew what scars I was coming out with. I know people with BBLs. I was expecting little scars like where the incisions are made, but that's it. I shouldn't have scars on the outside of me, like on the outside of my ass cheeks like that. They were like, it's normal, it's normal. I was like, this is not normal. But I was that out of it and that fucked off all the medication. I couldn't even defend myself at this point. Like, I was just like, put the fucking cream on and put the plaster on my ass. I literally blew up. My whole face blew up. I was ill, guys. I was actually physically ill. I genuinely did not think I was going to survive that. Like, I know that sounds dramatic, but I genuinely thought I was dying. And everything about it was just the worst experience of my life. They made me cancel my flights home. That's how much of a bad way I was in. They made me cancel my flights home and extend me stay there because they didn't want me to go home, basically, and not be under their medical care. And I just felt like I genuinely thought I'm not going to survive this. Like, there was just, I just did not feel, it just was the worst feeling in the whole entire world. I could not believe that I decided 18-year-old me that was acceptable to do to myself. And now I've got to look back at these scars of my whole life that they're going to be on my body and just remember that I done that because I wanted validation off other people, off strangers online. Like, that's insane. That is fucking insane. And if I showed you the pictures of what they'd done and the scars, every time I'd sit on the toilet, my ass would literally like rip open on the side. It was bleeding. I had a big massive smiley face on my left bum cheek. I had a little one on the other bum cheek as well. And I was just like, what the fuck? It was genuinely the most traumatic thing I've ever put myself through. And it's my own fault for like doing that. But so then I got back. And as much as I'm telling you now out of the truth of my heart how painful and how much of a bad decision that was making that. Like, I'm not being funny with you guys. My dad still does not know I've been there to this day. He does not know. So people were texting me on Instagram after I've posted. Do you remember the first post I posted with the red Victoria's Secret set on? I was just so made up to finally like post and not have a belly and be like, fuck you fucking little rat for giving me all this shit for so long. And I was just so like, even though I had these scars all over me and I was literally physically unwell, I was just so excited to get like the last laugh and be like, ha ha ha. When that's such a shit mindset to have, like, it genuinely couldn't be more fucking toxic if you tried. And when you get back from surgery, this is what I want to kind of make sure you know. It doesn't fix you. Like, I know you think waking up with a skinny stomach or waking up with like, I don't know, just what you picture of being a perfect body, it really doesn't fix you. Like, I But I remember when I got back, I was made up at the beginning, and then the more things settled down and like the more I was still insecure. I would still look at myself in the mirror every single day. I would still weigh myself every single day. And I feel like my eating habits actually got worse after I had the surgery because I was so desperate to stay skinny. And that's when I developed like maybe not eating enough, and I was like trying to starve myself, but this time I would make sure I didn't binge. And it was just, I would do all kinds of things, weight loss jabs, everything, just to try and keep the weight off me, instead of literally just eating in a calorie deficit and just like exercising regular. Like, what the fuck? I've done everything but that. Do you know what I mean? Like, why not just fucking go and get your fucking steps in and eat healthy? Like instead of sitting there putting your body through all this shit, because it's not good. Like, it's genuinely not good. And yeah, so I got back from there and I was just in the most excruciating. Oh, I wish I could explain it to you. I would never recommend this surgery to anyone. And then you hear all these horror stories about people like losing their lives because they wanted to go and get a BBL. And I am sitting there thinking, 18-year-old me, literally something, you never know. Like, could have been me. Something could have went wrong. I could have died. My dad didn't know where I was. My mum's nerves were gone. Like, and I was just that selfish to put myself in that position, knowing how many people around me loved me, just because I felt so hated. Do you get what I'm saying? Just because I felt so hated by everyone online and hated by myself, it just like, I forgot about them ones that actually loved me. And I was starting to like realize then what I'd done. And yeah, the hate did die down a little bit, because what could you say at that point? I was just getting accused of having a BBL, which isn't the worst thing that's ever been said to me. So I don't think I've ever addressed it. Like, I just kind of ignored it. And maybe I've addressed it the odd time, like, no, I haven't had one, or I'm not answering it, or whatever. But it's just because I'm not ready. There was a few reasons why I didn't want to. One, because I didn't want to give these haters, like, look what we've made to do. Fucking hell, she went and spent 5K on getting a BBL. I didn't want to. I felt embarrassed. Like, I literally felt ashamed that I'd put myself through that purely off just, like, being young and dumb and just fucking being online and having a, like, putting yourself out there. Obviously there's going to be backlash, but I just couldn't handle it at that age. Like, I already had these feelings and these thoughts in my head, and then that just like made it so much worse. So yeah, one was because I didn't want to look stupid, even though it doesn't make me look stupid. And I've grew and I've realized that me talking about this now and actually being open about it does not make me look stupid. It makes me look far from stupid, because I am using my platform to try and like raise awareness to younger people. And two, the main reason I never wanted to talk about it again was just because I did not want to influence this. It was the worst experience of my life. Yeah, fucking hell, you might look at me and think, oh, she's got a gorgeous body. Like, I know, so that's another reason I just didn't want you to think, well, if she's done it, I'm doing it. Guys, it was the most terrible thing I have ever put my body through. And and I literally have little X's all over me. Like, not only did they scar me like that, I know people, like I said, I know people about BBLs. So when they put the rod in, they usually, you get like a little, like there's a little round like scar where obviously the lipo thing goes in. Mine are crosses. They've literally cut me open in a cross. I'm like a treasure map. I've got crosses all over me, like little mini crosses. And I'm just like, why did they do that? Why did they not just like put it in and it would have just healed into a little hole? Like, mine's healed into a cross. So it's just like there constantly, which annoys me. And then, yeah, it was just a really dark time. And I feel like then the hate died down a little bit. I stopped getting hateful messages, because what could you say? Obviously, it still carried on a little bit after that, but it was just all like accusations and people just saying, I mean, I still did get called fat by some people. Now, the thing as well is why I've never really felt comfortable talking about it is because when I had my BBL, I have lost a lot of weight since having that BBL. So like, that was down to me. Obviously, the amount of fat that they took out of me in surgery was 6 litres of fat, which is literally so dangerous, guys. I think the limit in the UK is something like 2 litres. Anything past that is dangerous for your body, and I was just like getting it out of me. And basically, the scar on my bum cheek, what I think it was when I've been to see people over there, they think that they've left the probe in me for too long and it's burnt through my skin. Because you got to remember, when they're putting the fat back in your bum, they melt the fat. So it's hot when it's going into your ass, the fat, because obviously when they get out your stomach, they have to melt it, put it in like a machine that melts it, and then put it in your bum. And I think this woman told me, it was like like she's had like all surgery herself. She was like, it looks like they've left the probe in your skin and it's burnt through your skin. Or they've like dropped maybe the hot fat on me. Something's gone wrong anyway, because it's literally fucking burnt me. And yeah, and then when I come back, I remember being laid there, maybe next where the door knocks. Obviously I had a BBL cushion. I was just like, no one could really come around because you know I'd had one because I couldn't sit on my bum. And it was me dad. He'd literally got back from Portugal and he just come in and give me the biggest hug and squeeze me. I nearly fucking died. And he never, what can he say? Like, I know that maybe when I've gone on holiday and that since, probably thought, the fuck? Where the fuck's all that weight gone? But I just don't think he's ever like, I don't even know if he knows what a BBL is, to be honest with you. I mean, if he hears this, I'm not too bothered because I'm here to tell the tale. I know it was dangerous and I know I shouldn't have done that, but it's something I had to go through and like, I feel, I don't know, what can he say? I'm sorry, I've done it, lad. It's your fault for giving me your fucking shit jeans, mate. No, I'm been messing, that wasn't funny. He's got amazing jeans, but he is small. Anyway, so, yeah. And then, yeah, so I feel like, again, but what I want to focus on is the aftermath of surgery now, because I told you all that story. And I just feel like, again, healing from body image or trying to get better with the way that you view yourself or the perception of everything, it really does start from within. Like, I'm not being funny, but I will see like bigger girls on holiday and they'll have so much confidence that they look amazing. Not that bigger girls aren't stunning, they absolutely are. All body shapes are gorgeous, whether you're fucking big, small, little, large, whatever, in my opinion, you are. But it really is mad. Like, I remember this one girl specifically in Dubai, and she was stunning, she was beautiful, she was more curvy, but she was just oozed with confidence in the water park. And I remember when she was walking, and I was like, it's so weird that you can like that thing that Maddie says on Euphoria, and it's like confidence, it's like fake it till you make it kind of thing. And what does she say? I don't know what she says, but she says something about confidence. You'll know, you would have seen it on TikTok. And it's so true, like, you are what you feel inside, and that's how you'll reflect on the outside. If you are hating yourself and you're putting all this negativity out there, where you're waking up every day and you're like, I hate myself, I hate the way I look, you're putting that out there, so you're just going to reflect that energy and, like, attract even more. I feel like that's what it was with me, because I was putting such negativity on myself. I attracted more negativity with online and all the other stuff, because sometimes I would add fuel to the fire and react and bite back, and it just got me nowhere. And then but then back to like the storyline of another thing is then it died down a bit about me weight then, because it was just everyone was just trying to figure out what the fuck I'd done. And then it was started on my boobs, obviously, because I lost so much weight because I gained so much weight and lost so much weight. And like I said, I fluctuate quite a lot. My boobs were constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. So when I'd be bigger, my boobs would be bigger. When I'd lose weight, they'd drop a bit. And in the end, they was like just normal boobs. Like they was like saggy, they'd sagged, obviously. But I never had an issue with my boobs. Like, I never genuinely used to look in the mirror in the way I used to think about my body. I never used to have that with my boobs. I used to like my boobs, they were cute. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to think, oh, they're like the cutesy little boobs. Didn't ever second think that I would, like, I mean, I probably would have got a boob job eventually anyway, but like, I didn't feel like I needed it then. And then at 18, I was probably 19 at this point, actually. It all just happened in such a short period of time where I just got so much done to myself. And then, yeah, it all started on my boobs then, where people would be like, just saying all nastiest things like cone tits, saggy tits, all this kind of stuff on TikTok. And I was just like, oh my God. So what did I do? Obviously, when I had complained to the company about the fact that they'd burnt my ass off, what their response was is that I could come back and have a surgery for like a discounted price. So when all this happened, obviously I was never going to take them up on that offer because of what they done to me. But then when the hate started again on my boobs and it was bad again, it was just bad. I don't think people get it. I was getting tagged in things. People were putting things on Snapchat like, what the actual fuck is wrong with these all? You all think that I'm not a person behind this phone. Like, I'm literally just a normal person. I don't understand why you think I'm made of steel and like things aren't going to get to me. Are you messing? I'm literally a girl. Like, things like this matter to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, a girl it's so, like, I'm not saying lads don't suffer, because they definitely do, but like, it's just like the way that you're looking is so, I know it's mad, but it is so important to us. Like, and for some people, for everyone to just be ripping into it all at the age of like 19 now, it was just disgusting. So it just gone off my body and now it's my boobs. So then I thought, oh, remember that offer that they offered me? I'll give them a little message, because I just wanted a quick fix. Didn't want to be paying like fucking 10 grand, just wanted something quick. Fix, done. Messaged them pictures over of my boobs. They're like, yeah, you need an uplift as well. So it's like, sound. So I went back to Turkey, back to the company. It was literally my own fault. Do not feel sorry for me for the BBL, but please don't feel sorry for me for the second boob, for the boob job, because what the actual fuck. I clearly, the tone was set for me with after what they put me through with the BBL. Never mind going back to the same company. So I went back, and when I got my boobs done, again, woke up with the most excruciating fucking pain. I do not know what painkillers they give you over there, but the fucking shit. And I woke up, and when I took my bra off the first time, one boob was up here and one boob was down there, one boob was that big and one boob was that big. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I took off, I was crying my eyes out. George was with me. I was literally sobbing, like, I fucked my body up, like, I was so distraught. And when I went to see the surgeon on the last day, when he took me drains out, I said, why does one boob look like that? And he was like, it's just trapped fluid. It's just trapped fluid. And it's like, are you fucking for real? I was like, it's not trapped fluid. I know that it's not. Like, it's not. And it doesn't look like trapped fluid. It looks like the implants up here. And he was like, no, it is. Trust me. So I was like, okay then, stupid army. Next flight home that day. And you're just in and out like a conveyor belt. Like, I swear to God, it is the fucking weirdest thing ever. And I went home and I was just, again, depressed. I was actually sobbing every single time I take that bra off. I was crying my eyes out to my mum. I'm like, Mum, this is not right. This is not right. Look at it. And my mum was like, what the fuck? But I ended up dealing with them for about 10 months or something, or maybe even a little bit longer. But it got to the point where, like, when I was like sleeping with George or whatever, like, I would keep my top off. When I got the shower and I walked in my bedroom, I would like try and get changed with the towel on. He used to say, what are you doing? I used to say nothing, like, just trying to get changed. Like, I felt 10 times more insecure than what I did before when I got this boob job. And then I got to the point where I was like, again, getting back into that really bad mental headspace about my body and all shit like that. And I just ended up crying my eyes out, breaking down. I was like, Mum, this is not normal. I cannot look at myself with these boobs, like, they're fucking terrible. And like, my dad had warned me not to go to Turkey. He was like, don't you fucking dare go to Turkey. Like, this is what I mean. People were saying, nah, your dad paid for your BBL. He was begging me not to go and get my boobs done in Turkey, never mind that. So but I still, again, didn't listen to him. And then I just ended up telling my dad, I was like, Dad, they fucking botched me, like, honest to God, like, blah, blah, blah. My dad, I was crying my eyes out, and he was like, book a scan with the Spire. So I ended up going private with an hospital. My mum booked me a scan with the Spire. And they scanned my boob and there was no fluid there. It was the implant. So then I ended up going to see this surgeon, Dr. Jumar, who's in the clinic, in the Spire, sorry. And he basically looked at my boobs and was like, what the fuck? Like, they're literally completely different sizes, shapes, everything. And the different, like, volumes. Like, one was like a higher volume than the other. It was weird. And he was like, right, okay. So then I ended up having to go and get my boobs redone, take the implants out, add that pocket sewn, like, the muscle sewn up, because I ended up going over the muscle the second time rather than under. And my scars, where they'd literally just cut me open like I'm just like a fucking doll. One of my scars, like, come down here. Dr. Jumar had to cut me scar in and, like, fix it and fold it and fix it all, because they just, like, didn't give a fuck. What my scars were like diagonal fucking lines where they just, like, slice. They don't care. They've got no courtesy over there for you whatsoever. You're in and out once they've got that money, and you have to pay cash and fucking put that cash through the money machine. You are in trouble. Let me fucking tell you. I know plenty of people who've nearly died after having a BBL, blood clots on the lungs, and like, just bad things, guys. People are going and dying because of these surgeries, and it really is that real. Like, this is not just to look a certain way. This is a dangerous thing, guys, that you are genuinely just, like, best never looking into. Never go down that path. Like I've just said, I've had all these things done, and it still took me to just deal with me and my inner feelings and my inner thoughts to really heal on the outside. Like, last summer, I literally, like, because I was just so confident and I was so safe in me, like, I felt better in my own skin. And I just really had, like, such a good summer. I felt amazing in a bikini. And it was because of all the work I've done on my, literally, but it was because of the work I've done on the inside. Like, going to get a surgery, you still come home with the same mental health issues that you went and got. If anything, it makes you fucking worse, because now you're like, I need to maintain this, instead of just doing it the right way. Like I just said, like, putting better things into your body, being more mindful. Like, people always ask me online, how have you dealt with that? How are you confident? I was that person who I would refuse if you told me a few years ago that I would be the way I am with George now. I'd be, like, on holidays with him in a bikini. And now I'm in, like, a place where I don't care what, like, I'm like with George. George loves me for who I am. He just makes me feel comfortable. And I feel like meeting him and everything that like just comes alongside meeting the right person. Not necessarily you have to meet a boy to get over it, because you don't. What upsets me looking back is, because I know a lot of you are going to ask, like, would I change what I've done, or would you make the same decision now if you didn't? I genuinely just feel sad for myself. Like, I was 18 years of age and I put myself in that position, and I just feel like 18-year-old me, I look back and, like I said before, I just see like a baby. And even the way my body shapes and my body is shaped and like the way I look, like I just look so cute. And I just think, as if I wanted to like put my life at risk to look a certain way and chase that idea of perfect in my head. It does make me sad. I don't think I would never put my body through anything like that again. My boobs, I had to fix them. Do you know what I mean? But um, with surgery now, I'm completely done with that. I would never do it to myself again. People make it look easy. I just want to say, I see influencers online go to this same company, promote the same company that fucked me up twice, and they promote it because they're getting a surgery for free. You best believe that them people who are getting the surgeries done for free, yeah, are going in there, and it's a completely different ball game to you, a normal person at home, okay? Because what they are going to treat that person like and make that person look like is completely different. You sign papers when you get there, guys. I can tell you a million and one things, and you're basically signing your life away. You're signing your life away, and it says on these papers that there's going to be like a ghost surgeon. So basically, if your main surgeon who you think is going to be doing the surgery isn't present, that you give permission for these ghost surgeries to get these ghost surgeons to like take over the process, and you sign your life away like that. Like, you are literally getting put open by people who aren't even qualified surgeons. Like, let that sink in. This is not worth your life looking a certain way, I promise you now. But yeah, that's like my full story with it. I hope that yous like don't take this in an influential way and think, oh, she's got like a fat ass and I want to fucking go here and get that done. Because I promise you guys, like, the trauma that I've got from that and the scars on my body. Like, another thing I always think of is, like, imagine when I have kids one day and they ask me like where them scars are from. Because I asked my mum when I was a kid, where the stretch marks are from. I was like, what are they? Like, they ask questions, and like, what do I say? Have I got to explain myself in that way? So many things come alongside it in the aftermath of it. Like, it's genuinely just not worth ever going down that route. Like I said, like, now I've started something that I'm just like stuck with. And honestly, I did get in that mindset. Thank God I'm out of it now, but I did get in that mindset at one point where, after I had the BBL, and then that situation happened with my boobs, I was like, oh, I'll just get surgery again. I'll just get surgery again. And that's just not the type of way that you want to be thinking. I would just say, if you are going through any things and you're going through the thoughts of like having work done and you think it's going to make you feel better, like, I really would reconsider. Like, honest to God, there's so many more options. And if you are still growing up and you're only young, you change so much when you get into like young adulthood. Like, you are honestly do become a woman. Your body changes all the time with women. We shouldn't want to put our bodies through these things to look what our idea of perfect is. Like, I still get called fat now by the odd little fucker, and you're never going to be perfect, okay? You're never going to be like everyone. Like, you're just not, and that's just something that you've just got to accept. Like, you are perfect to obviously nice people. Everyone's gorgeous in their own way, but this idea of like the way that we want our bodies to look, the way that we want our face to look, hair, everything, that is not like, that's not going to shape you, and you need to just remember that. So yeah, guys, I feel like I just spilled the tea on myself, but that is what I want this podcast to be. I want it to be an open space where I talk about things that I'm not that well uncomfortable, because uncomfortable things have like good, what's the word, I don't know, but there's good in them. I'm not talking about them to be like, go and get a fucking BBL, because trust me, you'll not want to go through that. But I hope me sharing everything that I've gone through and the things that I've had to put up with really do help. And remember, if you are one of them little fucking bastards that put things online, that people do have feelings behind the screen, and we are just human at the end of the day. And just consider things, because imagine if things went differently that time that I went to fucking Turkey and had a BBL, or because people can't watch the mouths on the internet or keep their unwanted opinions to themselves. So yeah, I know that's a little bit of everything to take in, but hopefully it helps you someone out there, and I love you all so much. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next episode. I can't believe I've told you it's my biggest secret. But yeah, BBL motherfucking Drizzy bitch. And what? See you soon. And I love yous. Make sure you like and subscribe and use follow us on all our channels, which is Tea Time with Livvy. And I love you so much. Bye.